Hello, hello. We're gonna go ahead and get started today because we don't have we don't have too many live members, but um, for those of you who are going to watch on YouTube, or you can watch it, a couple months from now or whenever you discover this content. This is just a kind of an overview of financial literacy. You can look at the first two videos. The recording, I'll just go ahead and admit it's not that great, but I'm hoping that this round will be a little bit better. But again, thank you again for just checking out the content, and I have a friend in the audience as well. Um, so um, again, I appreciate everyone checking out this content. I'll be building this up over time, but we'll just jump into it today. Um, this is the second course. I should have corrected that. It's not course one; it's course two. In participation in financial opportunities. Um, you can reach me at the link tree. Those are my socials there. And again, this is just going to be kind of like an overview, a lot like the my first presentation, which is just on the basics of financial education. Kind of a couple of points I brought up, just about being a savvy consumer, but also thinking about short-term and long-term goals that you want to meet financially. And this is kind of a branch off of that in participation. So, what opportunities are out there? I wanted to, again, we're gonna. I think the first 5 or 6 slides are gonna be just kind of an overview of things, kind of just setting up the groundwork for kind of thinking about things in the fiscal categories. Um, so, what opportunities are out there? There's career changes. There's setting personal goals, personal and professional development, as well as fiscal opportunities. That last one can be a part of every single one of those. However, it's not, in the long run, money isn't, everything at the end of the day. There's certain things that you can make goals that don't have anything to do with your finance, and that's wonderful. That's perfectly fine. But, over time, make sure you stay, on top of some of those things that may lead you to financial successes. And again, your financial successes can support those more personal or sentimental goals of yours. I wanted to take some time to just focus on career opportunities. And again, these are traditional career opportunities. I encourage anyone to do their own research, whether we're talking about general finance or employment opportunities, career growth. Always do your own research. There's going to be moments in time where you feel maybe like, oh, this isn't the lane I want to be in, or this is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but there's always something, to do a little bit more research. Hi. There's always something to look into. There's always a little bit more research to do, different fields of study. Um, and right now, I think I'll kind of go through each category. There are positions in retail banking, commercial lending, securities analysis, securities brokerage, commercial credit, consumer credit, corporate financial management, as well as various entry level positions. And I say various entry level positions because everyone, has that, everyone has a starting point. Some people start out just as like cashiers, and work their way up into a business if they feel comfortable, and passionate about that business. Like me, I got started in a tech startup and learned a lot about like finance and different types of technology that's making it easier for people to access different financial services. And so again, that leads me to that second point. There are new opportunities in decentralized technology and finance that are going to continue to evolve. Kind of going back to my previous point, do your own research. There'll be a lot of things that you'll come across, whether new or traditional, that you may feel comfortable with, you may not feel comfortable with, but read into it, even if it doesn't strike all those right notes for you, that you're used to, that you've had experience with. There may be a new piece of knowledge that broadens your horizons. And so this is a slide I just named it "Show Me the Money," just to kind of get our mind thinking about where where is money out in the world? Where is all this capital going to? And you hear things about investments being made, or government spending, or business spending, or even personal spending, that you hear from your colleagues, or your family members. Um, so I wanted to talk about these kind of umbrella categories about that umbrella categories that have a lot to do with where the money is out in the real world. Um, and so the first one is money and credit markets, which deals with securities markets and financial institutions. There are primarily three types of securities: equity, which provides ownership rights to holders; debt, essentially loans repaid with periodic payments; and hybrids, which combine aspects of debt and equity. The second, investments, which focuses on the decisions made by both individuals and institutional investors. And I believe that is the most broad category. We could probably talk about a lot of just like consumer spending, uh, or even saving over time, and it would end up in what we call the investments category. Third is the financial management, which involves decisions made within a firm regarding the acquisition and use of funds. And it isn't to be confused with you just using the phrase financial management to talk about how you manage your finances personally. But from a kind of a definition standpoint, when we talk about corporate finances, or firm finances. This is involved decisions made within a firm regarding the acquisition and use of funds. So when you hear about companies acquiring another company, or you hear about a company having a large stake in another company, these are decisions that happen within financial management. And I cited my source at the bottom if you want to check that out. And so, how do we categorize finance? I left this slide really simple because we're kind of slowly getting to where we can kind of brainstorm about what we want to participate in. I have a few examples of some things we can participate in. But for now, I quoted this. I took this quote and wanted you to share this with everyone. Excuse me. Finance can be divided broadly into three distinct categories: public finance, corporate finance, and personal finance. And kind of going back to our last slide, it isn't to be confused with these fields where the monies are, which is in equities, in debt, and hybrids. So what can we participate in? I'll say it again a million times, and I'll go back to what I previously said. Please do your own research, and this is financial education. This is not financial advice. But these are just a few things that I've found within reach, and whether you're just starting out, or you've had a couple different successes, whether in whether an investment, or through personal career. These are things that you can participate in, which is high interest savings accounts, mutual funds. You can find varieties of these through credit unions, or different types of financial institutions. Traditional securities, like a 401k, stocks, equities, government bonds, and penny stocks, like cryptocurrency. Penny stocks are separate from that, and then cryptocurrency. And I put a few different examples here because these are some of the safest options right now that you can look into. I encourage anyone who's interested in dabbling in, and maybe seeing what they can do with some additional savings, or some how do you call some some side income, there are opportunities to use a little bit of your savings to hedge against inflation. And hedging against all that means hedging against inflation is kind of making sure that as the dollar, whether it loses value, or excuse me, whether it deflates in value or inflates in value, you have something that is stable enough to hedge against the loss of value of your currency, which is the U.S. dollar. But again, please look into USDC and DAI. These particular cryptocurrencies are stable coins. They are tied to the dollar, and so just starting out there is one of the safest approaches, because you'll learn that USDC is issued through a company named Circle, and DAI is issued through a decentralized organization called MakerDAO. And again, these are time tested. These are time tested groups. Extremely hardworking people work for these institutions. And again, I encourage anyone to look these up, because this is where I started to get passionate about finance, whether it was traditional or decentralized. So, where can we store our assets? And I kind of go down the list as uh, that sort of more traditional towards the top, and some of the newer accessible technology towards the bottom. So again, where can we store our assets? Again, first and foremost, I've said this probably 6 or 7 times throughout the presentation, but always do your own research. It's one thing for one person's actions and participation in a certain field or study to be successful. Someone different may have a completely opposite experience, and whether they came to it with a lot of education or with a lot of inside knowledge, it's always important to do your own research, because it'll keep you from making an action, or it'll keep you from making actions that aren't informed. So the first one is I'm going to lay out is the traditional financial institutions. Again, local and regional banks. The next, credit unions. Credit unions tend to offer a little bit higher savings interest, just because they don't have as many depositors. Physical cash, that just means having your cash on hand. And I say physical cash because if there's ever a moment, and this never happens. These are these things that go on, and It's a Wonderful Life, when he goes to the bank, and everyone's trying to get their money, and he's trying to negotiate with the depositors that we can give you a little bit of cash, but we lend out this money. Your cash is in your home, and this person's cash is in this person's home, and so having a direct access to your funds is is arguably one of the safest ways to store your money. Next, and these are those now we're starting getting to assets that hedge against inflation, like precious metals or consumer goods. There have been a number of stories about gold, about wheat, about lots of different consumer products that have gone up in price, and these are potential hedges against inflation, that you can think about and do your own research on. Traditional stocks and equities, as well as a 401k. A lot of people think that a 401k is like this, no stress, easy way to make money, but it is exposed just as much to traditional stocks and equities. Um, it's just like mutual funds are. A mutual fund can go down in price. There's no guarantees. And again, always important to do your own research when you're starting to get to that a point where you want to make an informed decision. Um, and next, we'll go into cryptocurrency. We'll kind of stick with those two that I mentioned before, USDC and DAI. Those are some of the first ones I learned about, as well as how those are exchanged on different market makers, and we'll talk about that in future courses. And then next is liquidity staking, and this means being able to put those funds, being able to allocate those cryptocurrency funds to facilitate the further transaction of those types of funds between a voluminous amount of users, and so that just means you're now in a position to earn, what we'll simplify now is interest from staking and sort of in a way lending your liquidity to facilitate the transactions among other users transacting between those types of cryptocurrencies. And so for this example, it could be USDC to DAI. That doesn't happen very often because again, it is a dollar to a dollar. But when you get into a certain volume, those types of differences start to excuse me those types of monetary differences start to scale, even if they are at a very small level through one transaction. You have to look at these things through hundreds of thousands of transactions.
And Mont, will you
Yeah,
see us at the front desk before
of
you leave,
course.
so we can get your February date?
Okay, absolutely. Okay. Sorry to keep you. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. And again, I'll just say one more time, please do your own research with these things. It's one thing to be excited about, making a new move, whether it be personally or financially, but make sure to make informed decisions when it comes to your finances. So DCA and hedging against inflation. DCA is dollar cost averaging, saving or investing over time, and we've mentioned hedging against inflation already. And again, as a currency becomes inflated in value, assets invested in may hedge against the loss of its value. And we talked about that a little bit with consumer goods, a little bit with cryptocurrency, and again with dollar cost averaging, that just means taking the total amount that you'd like to invest in a certain period of time and then dividing up that amount into reasonable sets of time where you can slowly, allocate your funds, whether it be weekly, or daily, weekly, monthly, biannually. It's just up to your comfort level and how available how much how many funds you have available to make a potential risk, because again these there are no guarantees, like I said before. So when you are going to make a financially risky decision, please, please, please be informed. It's again, this is not financial advice, but these are the experiences I want to share with you. Being me making informed decisions has been on average a very good thing over the long run. And this is just something I included something like this in the last presentation. This is advice from AI, and I simply asked it, how would you introduce someone to financial opportunities? And this is what this is what it said. There are many traditional and new financial opportunities available, and the best options for you will depend on your personal financial goals and risk tolerance. Traditional financial opportunities include investing in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds through a brokerage account, saving for retirement through 401k or IRA, purchasing real estate as a rental property or for personal use, starting a small business, or investing in an existing one. New financial opportunities include investing in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, investing in peer-to-peer lending platforms such as Lending Club or Prosper, investing in crowdfunding campaigns or initial coin offerings, participating in the gig economy through platforms like Uber or Airbnb. It's important to do your own research and consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Additionally, it's important to diversify your investment portfolio and not put all your eggs in one basket. I'll go ahead and say I have no clue what the AI was, why it chose to mention Lending Club or Prosper. I have no idea what those are, but I just thought it'd be fun to, just leave it as is, kind of show you how the AI works. I don't think it tried to plug anything, but it ended up, advertising a couple products I haven't heard of. But again, do your own research. And again, I'm extremely thankful to be here. I appreciate my my good friend sticking in the audience today. Um, I'd love to use this time every time I do this presentation to have a little bit of reflection with the attendees, or maybe make this format a live stream one day where the viewers online, we can have a little bit more interaction. But again, there's my socials. Please feel free to check out that Google form. Even if you are online, I know that might be a lot to type in. Um, I'll try to get the form copied and pasted on YouTube, so it helps out. But again, thank you again for checking out this content, and a special thanks to library's leadership and today's attendees. So that would be all of you online, and my friend in the audience. So thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'll see you soon.